welcome once again to the Weekend Review with me, EJ Borkhardt. Now, a couple of more changes this week. You'll have to let me know if you like them or not. That picture in the beginning was an image made by a friend of mine for a different character for a different story I'm working on, named Swift the Rabbit from The Guardians. Another story I am working on. Hopefully I'll be featuring some more of his art in the future episodes because I just love his drawing style, especially when he's drawing characters from my books. And once again, we have the new intro music from Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, a show I highly recommend that you watch. I do not own the rights to this music, but yeah, so all credit goes to the guys who made it. Let's get started by discussing what we're going to be doing this week. We're going to be taking a look at what has happened this week in the Super Morpher, what has happened in the past leading up to this next chapter of Beast Blades, and a little sneak peek of what's coming out in next week's chapter, Beast Blades. So, without any further ado, let's get this party started by taking a look at the Super Morpher. So, this week in the Super Morpher, Ryan makes it back to Jordan's lab after being shot by a rocket launcher. Understandably, he's injured, a little upset, but overall he's okay. And he expresses to Jordan his doubts about staying in the superhero game. He thinks that he's causing more harm than good by doing this fighting. I mean, obviously the gangs hadn't been using rocket launchers before this, and now innocent people could end up getting hurt because they want to take him down. And Jordan tells him, you can't. You started this, you have to see it through, otherwise the gangs are just going to become more and more crazy, more and more people will get hurt in their effort to draw Ryan out to take care of him. So, Ryan's not entirely sure he wants to stick with it, but Jordan does have more good news for him. He has made more equipment for Ryan. He's made him a utility belt, not very stylish and bright yellow after Batman, and it has magnets in it so that it can hold on to Jordan's other new inventions, the morphing caps, which are little capsules that Ryan can squeeze to have a material for him to pop or absorb and transform into pop out. And then his other one is the sticky grenade. Push a button on top and throw it, and this really super sticky goo will shoot out and hopefully capture whatever it is that Ryan's trying to prevent from running away from him, be it bad guys, be it killer robots, police chasing after him, Ryan when he accidentally gets it, or accidentally sticks himself with it. You know, it should all be good. This isn't brought up in the chapter, but I'm thinking of having the way that it works is that Jordan just has a vat of this stuff sitting around in his lab somewhere. And when Ryan pushes the button, that causes the sticky grenade to open up a portal temporarily that allows a certain amount of the sticky substance to shoot through and then seal up again. This isn't official by any means, but I'm thinking since he teleports Ryan's costume around fairly easily, that this could possibly be a way to make him work. Otherwise, I have to figure out how to get that much sticky goo inside of a small ball. And I will go ahead and give you guys a little sneak preview that this will not be the last thing that Jordan designs that will be teleported around for use in combat. But I'm not going to reveal any more of that to you yet. More to come on that, I guarantee you, I promise. It might be 2 or 3 chapters until we see it, but it is coming. And then Ryan decides that, you know, if Jordan can remake the belt so that it's smaller, black, and then the morphine caps be a little smaller, he might be more up for wearing that in public. And so Jordan agrees to start working on that for him. And Ryan decides to go out on patrol. He's really hoping that he doesn't run into anyone or anything. He just wants a chance to run across the city, clear his mind, sort out his thoughts, figure out how he feels about his relationship with Becky and with his crime-fighting responsibilities. And he comes to the conclusion that he thinks that him and Becky are about done. He's going to go ahead and tell her that he does not want to move in with her. He expects that to end the relationship, and then he wants to go and tell Kari that he is finally ready to go to a Bible study with her and try and get a relationship kindled there. And it is at that point that Ryan does not get the peaceful night he was hoping for. He gets ambushed by another robot that throws him from the top of the building and then proceeds to attack him. Nothing that Ryan does really seems to be doing a whole lot to this robot. It can't dent it, scratch it, damage it in any way. The robot has very sharp claws and rocket-propelled elbows, which means he can slice at Ryan very fast. And this does cause Ryan a small amount of damage. And Ryan is able to catch the robot arm as it's swinging at him and bash it around on the ground a few times, give it a good old punt across the alley into a wall where it falls down unmoving. This does not get brought up in the story, but a little behind the scenes look for you guys. The reason why the robot stops moving is Ryan temporarily knocks the robot's battery case loose, so that it temporarily loses its power source. And when Ryan turns around to grab the robot and take it back to the lab for Jordan to look at, the robot is gone because it has restored power, it has left, and so Ryan gets to spend the rest of the night scouring the city looking for the robot that got away. He does not find it, however. He does return back to his dorm 2 hours before he needs to go to class, but before he can crawl into bed, he is met by a pair of very, very angry parents. Well, father's angry, mom's a mom. And the dad basically yells at Ryan, "Why would you quit football? Football's the only thing you're good at. You had a future career with the NFL. Yes, there is an NFL in this world, even though it's different than ours because it stands for National Football League. Since there's football, there can still be a National Football League. I'm hoping that's not copyrighted and I can use it. Otherwise, I will find a different acronym in the future before it's published. I will look into that." And eventually Ryan tells him that he hurt someone, he's got a girlfriend, he's looking for a job, and his dad says, well, you can either join football again, or you're not going to be getting any help from your mother and I any longer. And then he leaves. And Ryan is contemplating trying to join football again. And Jordan doesn't think that he'll be able to juggle school life, job, girlfriend, football, saving the city. It's all a lot of work for Ryan to try and incorporate into his everyday life. And Jordan thinks at the moment going back into football would be a mistake. Ryan does some thinking about it and is unable to actually get any sleep before his next class. So that was this week. Now we're going to take a look at what has happened previously in Beast Blades so that we can know what is important to know for the upcoming chapter. Story starts out with Lucas running through his plant. Lucas running away from some Acerbi on the plantation that he's being held captive. He manages to stumble into a cave, finds Pyra Equine, his legendary beast blade of fire, that when he sticks it into a fire, it summons forth the tiny little pony unicorn thing of fire. And a little sneak peek for you, there are 5 legendary Beast Blades. There are 5 different forms for each of the Beast Blades. The more Beast Blades are legendary Beast Blades you have summoned out at the same time, the higher stage your legendary Beast Blade will be in. So therefore, Pyra Equine goes from the cute little fire pony into a big flaming Pegasus, and then further on and further on until they get to their perfect form, a thing that I will reveal in the future for you. Back to the story. Apollo stumbles into the cave, finds Lucas and the Acerbi, fights the Acerbi off, tells Lucas what he has found, tells him he's going to travel with him and train him to use a sword, and to help him find the other legendary Beast Blades. Lucas isn't sure he wants to do any of that. Then he sees Apollo's fight against Beast Blades with nothing but a sword as he dispatches General Kane and his Beast Blades. Lucas agrees to start training the sword. That is something that I really, really need to bring up more in the story, but it's not as important at this point, because Lucas isn't really going to start doing it until after, if ever. He's just not going to do it. Anyway, so they continue on. General Kane returns to Geraldo. Lord Geraldo, the evil lord who has the legendary Beast Blade of Shadow and is attempting to conquer the known world with the use of Acerbi. But unfortunately, to summon the Acerbi, you must plunge the legendary Beast Blade of Shadow into your shadow, and if you move your shadow off the Beast Blade, all the Acerbi disappear. So he has to sit in one spot for as long as he's using the Beast Blade. Anyway, he's upset that General Kane failed. He decides to give him one more chance, sends him out. He ambushes Apollos and Lucas, and looks like he's going to win until Terra and her grandfather come riding up, and unfortunately an Acerbi scares the horse that's pulling the wagon that they're on. The wagon flips. Terra's grandfather is killed, but he provides the ember that Lucas needs to summon Pyra Equine. They defeat General Kane. Terra decides to travel with them. General Kane is thrown in prison for losing to Lucas and Apollos. General Aldrich is sent after them. He is a much more crafty individual. He has strategy, and he is going to figure out a way to get those legendary Beast Blades away from Lucas and to turn Apollos and Terra and Lucas all against each other. He goes after him with his 2 captains, Hugh and Charles, and he has the Acerbi spy on Lucas and Apollos and Terra when they enter into Sharon City. Once they're in Sharon City, they go into the underground catacombs to meet with a Beast Blade merchant named Malcolm that Apollos is friends with. The reason why Apollos goes there is Malcolm can use magic. He uses his magic to try and find the location of the next legendary Beast Blade. The way magic works in this world is there is a well that has a black inky substance in it. You take ink from the well. You draw symbols onto your body. Each symbol represents a different spell. When you want to use that spell, you touch the symbol, you breathe in the ink, and then you can use that spell. If you try to take ink away from the well, other than the stuff that's written on your skin, it vanishes. You can't use it. It's no good. You can't take the ink in jars and buckets or anything. It'll just disappear. So you only have as much room as you have skin. But Malcolm tells Lucas and Apollos that, hey, you guys should head to the Carndale Valley. That's where the next legendary Beast Blade is found. And you have to take Terra with you. So they go and they gather more supplies in the market before they leave the next day, and Apollos notices an Acerbi has been following them, and he runs to warn Malcolm and the other merchants in the other ground. They manage to get out, but not before the Acerbi find them. They're able to fight their way past, get out, meet Lucas and Terra outside the city by the wagon, and they continue on to the Carndale Valley, where they meet with one of Apollos' old friends, Jerome. Jerome is a legendary fighter, Beast Blade hunter, and has a vast collection of Beast Blades that he hunted down himself or that are very rare and valuable. Unfortunately, Jerome doesn't like people because someone that he had helped save Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how this works. The man that he had helped save the son had a beast blade that could have saved his wife from a very serious illness. Unfortunately, the man wouldn't let Jerome use or take the beast blade with him. Had to go back and get his wife. His wife died on the way there. Jerome got upset. He destroyed the mansion, took the beast blade for himself, and then now he lives as a hermit in this shack, and he puts up with very few people visiting him, just barely at that. Apollos is one of them, and Terra, of course, brings up the rebellion and wanting Jerome to go and join it, and so Jerome kicks them all out. They split up to go and search the Carndale Valley, and they come across... General Aldrich comes across the children, doesn't reveal that he's General Aldrich, starts telling them stories about Apollos, which are true, but the way he says it makes Apollos look like a bad guy without knowing the full story. And they go searching in the Carndale Valley for the Beast Blade. Terra and Lucas both suspicious of Apollos. And Aldrich appears just as they find the legendary Beast Blade, Rio Puto. And a battle ensues between the three of them. Lucas and Terra and Apollos all fighting in their own separate little pockets. None of them really trusting each other. And eventually Lucas summons Rio Puto, the legendary water dragon. That's all Aldrich has been waiting for. He goes over, he takes out Rio Puto, steals the sword, starts running away, jumps onto a raft, and heads down the river, leaving his two captains, Charles and Hugh, to deal with the other three. Fortunately, with some help from Lucas, Apollos is able to defeat these two captains, and then he reveals his past to these two. He was formerly the Guardian of the Shadow Sanctuary. Being a Guardian of the Shadow Sanctuary means you are tasked with the job of watching over the legendary Beastblade of Shadow. While you do so, you are invincible and immortal, and unfortunately, it was a job that Apollos didn't take as seriously as he should have. He was a wanderer, he was a traveler, he grew tired of the immortal life and decided to get an apprentice, General Aldrich. He trained Aldrich in the ways of fighting with a sword and all the responsibilities of the Shadow Guardian, and Aldrich, of course, thought that the legendary Beastblade Shadow could be used for good. No, the legendary Beastblade of Shadow corrupts you, takes over you, drives you mad, and also makes the wielder immortal and invincible. So, Aldrich convinces Geraldo, Apollos' son, to take the sword and that they would use it to help protect this country from their enemies. Well, before long, the sword twisted Geraldo's wishes and intentions and will, and now instead of protecting it, he's trying to conquer it. And after he conquers the country, he's going to use it to conquer the world. So, after all that, Lucas and Terra trust Apollos again. They go racing down the riverbank after Aldrich. They catch up with him. They get onto the raft. They start fighting him. Unfortunately, there's lots of mud flats in the raft. Mud flats in the river. And the raft runs into one of those. Lucas is knocked from the raft into the river after getting back the legendary Beastblade of Water. And he is swept away, never to be seen again. Perhaps. And that has you caught up so far. So now let's take a peek at what's going to be coming out next week. Next week we are going to have Apollos is about ready to kill Aldrich, and Aldrich basically says that what he's been doing this whole time is trying to stay on Geraldo's good side so that he can hopefully win him back. Apollos, while still very, very upset with Aldrich, decides to allow Aldrich to travel with them to help out with the rebellion and stay alive. He does not trust Aldrich, but he's going to keep him around so he can keep an eye on him. And then Aldrich is going to reveal a plan for the Acerbi to go and rob Jerome's house. And so they have to rush there to Jerome's defense. And after all that, Aldrich reveals what the next general he thinks that the rebellion is going to face off against. So, that has been this week's Weekend Review. Thank you all for checking it out. If you lasted this long in the video, you now know more about my story than most people. And unfortunately, I don't have any questions for you this week. No one wrote in and asked me anything for me to answer. This video is getting quite long already, so I'm going to end it off here. But if you have any questions for me, please leave them down below. I promise I will answer them. If you have any fan art, please submit it to me. I will feature it in one of these videos and possibly with one of my chapters. And thank you again for checking this out. Make sure to come back and check out my blog. And everyone have a great week. I'll see you next weekend. Thanks. Bye.